Oh, here we go. Welcome to this midnight Saturday edition Summer League run. Trying to dust off the cobwebs, get back into streaming. As you know, my name's Bernard Chang. I draw comic books. Right now I'm drawing Teen Titans for DC Comics. Written by Adam Glass, with colored by the amazing Marcello Maiolo. We are on issue 31, just came out a couple weeks ago. Right now I'm just going to do a quick warm-up sketch. San Diego is right around the corner. This is perhaps the busiest time of the year for comic book artists preparing for San Diego. It's the Super Bowl of all comic book conventions. I believe this is the 50th year of Comic-Con, and it's going to be my 27th year attending, 26th as a professional. So if you're good at math, it's not what the shirt means, but if you're good at math, it means my first San Diego was 1992. Most of you probably were not born then. I was 20 years old, going to college at Pratt Institute studying architecture, but always having the dream of being a professional being a professional artist, and at the time thinking that comics is what I wanted to do, which is what I'm doing now. So I guess it was a good decision. Teen Titans is one of the longest active superhero team books. It features a team of teen superheroes. This is a new, latest iteration of the team, headed by Damian Wayne, son of Bruce Wayne. It's Robin, aka Robin. We also have Kid Flash, Wallace West, Red Arrow, and Mako Queen. And then we have 3 new characters on the team. Roundhouse, who's an elemental boy, changes into different elements: rock, fire, ice. Jin, who's a genie, 14,000 years old. Does she really qualify as a teenager? Maybe. I think this lighting's a little... washing me out a little bit. And a lot of this is going to be a rough run. What do they call it in what do they call it? The soft openings. So I was streaming last year for a little bit, but then travel and deadlines got into the way. Some of the earlier streams had the first few issues of Teen Titans that I was working on, issue 20, 21. We're on 31 right now, so it's been 10. It's been one fill-in issue, number 25. just oh. If you guys are wondering, this is a 9.5 by 12 piece of paper. I am using a Pentel. This is an old one. It's all worn out. Later on, I'm going to debut a new pencil. Should be fun. Was just in Japan a few weeks ago. Went a little crazy and bought a whole bunch of new pencils. I think I bought like 4 or 5 new pencils. Thank you. Thank you, Bamfart. I mean, Japan has a ton. Most of these things are made in Japan. The tech pens and erasers. This is a Pentel. It's a Japanese brand. I bought some Posca white pens. Hopefully later I'll get to inking a piece, if possible. Got a late start today. The weekend is almost over. If I don't go out tomorrow for dinner, then I'm gonna probably stream again tomorrow evening, tomorrow afternoon. But I also have to do a cover and work on start on the next issue, Teen Titans. So as you might know, yes, today is again what I'm calling Summer League run. If you guys watch basketball, this is the Summer League, NBA Summer League just started last week. Hopefully there will not be an earthquake during this stream. I am in Los Angeles, California. There have been 2 earthquakes the last 2 days, albeit they're about an hour, 45 minutes away from here, so impact is not as dramatic. Where is everyone from? I wonder where Bamfart is from. I figure this is midnight, so midnight in the U.S. in Los Angeles. It's probably early evening in Hawaii. It is probably already Sunday afternoon, Sunday night in Asia somewhere. And how does it work for Europe? Europe is a few hours ahead, so if you're up and you're in Europe, you're a night owl, I'm assuming. NorCal. Bamfart is from NorCal. Awesome. I don't know where Mount Shasta is. Is that where they came up with the soft drink? Shasta? Or I'm thinking about something else. I've been working on trying to get my green screen all night, and apparently my lighting in here is horrible in the studio. It's not bright enough to differentiate the green on the green screen. So I'm going to try to do that next time I come on. Oh, nice. 45 minutes. Bamford is 45 minutes away from the Oregon border. You ever make it down to LA? Bamford? I have not been up to Oregon, or furthest north in California is Roseville or Sacramento, whichever is northern, most northern of the two. Oh, and the last character, the last new team member of Teen Titans is Crush. This is the character I'm drawing now. She is the daughter of Lobo. You guys know, read your DC Comics. Lobo is an intergalactic badass, and she's his daughter. Actually, this last issue, she just found out, or they just met. Issue 31. There's a big fight sequence between the Teen Titans and Lobo. I mean, actually, also, I haven't drawn on pencil on paper in quite a while too, because the last two issues of Teen Titans I've been drawing purely digital. Excuse me, on the iPad. So, Bamfarts, you used to live in Thousand Oaks, Ventura. What made you move up to NorCal? I go to Simi Valley every few weeks. I play poker. I have a group of friends up there. Also, gotta get used to talking and drawing at the same time. Comics is a very solitary kind of career for being an artist in general. You typically don't talk when you're working. So, this is like, gotta train another part of the muscle, another brain muscle, or another compartment in the brain that allows you to multitask. Drawing is very precision oriented. Usually when you're trying to be precise, you're very quiet because you're concentrating. So this is the actually counter. I'm assuming a lot of you that are online are also artists. Do your own drawings, your own art. I think part of this stream too, later on as I continue to stream, I'm going to do some that are digital. Hook up my iPad or my Cintiq. You can check out some of the some of the videos I did last year. But now I have all the equipment. Got a new iMac. Got a green screen. Just need to find the time. It's a little difficult to stream drawing the actual comics. I tried doing that last year a couple of times because some of the pages are top secret. I had to mask stuff out, and it's a little difficult. Bamford, you've been everywhere. Alaska. How was Alaska? I've never been. I'm curious. Interested in visiting. Also, when you lived in Alaska, how long did you live there? Did you qualify for the Alaska oil dividend? I believe there's every resident of the state of Alaska at the end of the year, if you've lived there for X amount of time, you get like $1,000 or $2,000 from the government. It's kind of like a universal basic income. Money that was, I believe, generated from the big oil companies. That's then redistributed to the citizens of Alaska. I used to live in Florida myself. I grew up in Miami. There's no oil there. It's very humid though. And there's hurricanes. And crocodiles. Alligators, actually. We have alligators in our backyards. Canals, go fishing, and then there'd be like an alligator swimming by or perched on the side. Alright, warm-up sketch number 1. Still kind of rusty. You guys have a choice of characters? I got maybe 2 or 3 commissions I gotta knock out tonight. 2 Black Panthers and a Hawkman. But right now I think I need to do 1 more. Yeah, I guess I mean, Alaska seems like a really nice, I mean, I really like fishing. Seems like there's a lot of wildlife component, nature component to it. What can I draw? Bamford, do you collect comics? Do you read comics? Are there any books that you're following? I think I'll do a Kid Flash here. I also just saw Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Very, very waited all this time. I was traveling a lot earlier this year, and it was actually on the plane a couple of times, but I decided not to watch it on the plane. I wanted to wait until I got home and watch it on the television. I figured I needed to give it justice. And glad I waited. Man, I thought it was amazing. Really captured, I feel like, the spirit of comics, the story, the characterization, the animation itself, the storytelling. I might even watch it a second time. Usually there's not a lot of free time in my day. When I do watch television, it's usually during the course of a meal. Very rarely do I ever make it to a movie theater these days. I don't even remember the last movie I saw in a movie theater. Actually, it was a TV show, Warrior, on Cinemax. It's like really bright. At the ArcLight Theater in LA. It's a premiere. It's the story created by Bruce Lee, and finally shot and turned into reality recently. I think they're shooting a second season right now in South Africa, and it was amazing. I thought it was pretty awesome. But aside from that, I haven't been to a movie theater in so long. I think maybe the one time before that was Star Wars. The one where they hyperdrived into the Star Destroyer. Which one was that? Rusty. You know, sometimes I actually haven't drawn in a few days. Just been cleaning the house. So today I thought I'd start off with some commissions that I owe people. Kind of dust off the cobwebs. Sometimes the drawing is also based on the position of where you're sitting, the angle that you're at. It might look really cool from a particular angle, but then when you hold up the drawing, you're like, oof, it's completely skewed. So I always gotta, I've done that a few times. One trick that I like to do is I have a light box. You can always turn the light box on, flip it around. And you can kind of see, oof, the neck is too far back. Maybe this is like similar to holding up your piece to a mirror. If you're drawing, you take the drawing, hold it up to the mirror, you can instantly see some mistakes that you might have made that you couldn't see from a particular vantage point. The only downside to that is there's this, still have to adjust the camera. What's Coda? Banfart's reading Batman Damned and Coda. Wow. The correct answer, Banff, would have been, yo, what's up, Ryan? What's going on? Everybody, Ryan Benjamin's in the house. Ryan, are you in Japan or are you traveling somewhere right now? mean, it's kind of late to be up. It's 12:40, 12:50. Ryan, if you guys don't know, is an extremely talented comic book artist. He grew up in Miami too. Well, Florida, Fort Lauderdale, right? Ryan started at Wildstorm. That's an amazing place to start your career off at. Jim Lee, perhaps the perennial all-time Michael Jordan of the comic book industry, discovered him. Ryan, you were streaming on Mondays, right? Are you still doing that, or? Ryan also has a comic book boot camp with Wilch Portacio. And I think they just had one. It was a big success. And I think they just announced another one for San Diego. Hey, I think I'm gonna go back to Tokyo in November. So if you're going, that'd be cool. Although this time, I think I'm gonna stay in Osaka a day. Last year, Ryan and I did a show in Japan. It's 3 days, but two of the 3 days was the same show, and the third day was a different show, but it was all in Tokyo. And actually, Friday was in Tokyo, Saturday was in Osaka. Osaka's on the other side of the country. We took can't go. Got a wedding. Maybe next year, in May. Yeah, we took a bullet train. We got up like at, 6 something in the morning, maybe earlier than that. The Brave and Bold Art Show, yep. And took the bullet train, was like 2 hours, which normally would have taken easily like 6 or 8 hours, regular train. To Osaka, did a show there, ate dinner, and then took a bullet train back to Tokyo the same night. I felt like a hired assassin. I was actually there just in Tokyo in May for Yoshi's show with Jim Chung. So you guys can see comic book artists are up. Professional comic book artists are up. Saturday nights, Saturday mornings, Sunday morning now, drawing. Ryan, what are you working on now? Are you able to talk about it, or is it a top secret project? I'm trying to get my, maybe tomorrow if I stream during the day, get a green screen up. I need to get some more lighting so that at night it's very dark in here. The other thing with lighting too, Batman. Wow. That's the book to draw. What's up, Ace? How's it going? You're up late, man. You're on the East Coast. It's almost 4 o'clock. Gotta get some rest. Ace, also say hello to Ryan Benjamin. Ryan Benjamin's another comic book artist. He's drawing Batman right now. There's something off with the sketch. Today is just about setting up the equipment, doing a test run, working the muscle that allows you to draw and talk at the same time. When you're working at home, working from home, you can really become like a hermit. Ryan also has a Twitch show. I think it's Mondays at 8 or so. Ryan and I were in Japan last year. And actually, I think Ryan stayed in Japan for like a month or so. I'm so jealous. I'm actually thinking about maybe trying to do something like that. Especially now that I'm drawing the books digitally on the iPad. It's a lot easier. Before, even last year, last November, I mean, I didn't start drawing on the iPad until 2 months ago. So the last 2 issues. But having to travel before with all this equipment, and you know, you bring a laptop, tablet, scanner, light box, all these pencils, papers. It's heavy. It's a lot of stuff. You gotta set up. You gotta find a nice working area. And then you can start working. And now with the iPad, you just brew a cup of coffee and then sit down somewhere and you're ready to go. The only downside is there's no original art left. Physical original art. It's all digital. It makes it easier to make revisions and corrections, adjustments. But there is a slight difference. Hey, Ace, you watching the Summer League run? Did you catch that Zion versus RJ Barrett game? Was it yesterday? Damn, Japan for 2 months. Whew. Do you still have yen? Or did you convert it all back to US? The yen's actually getting much stronger currency-wise. I mean, I think when we were there in... Oh, yeah. I mean, when we were there last November, I think it was around 1,100 yen for $100 US. And now it's 10,700. So it's a difference of like 4,000 yen, which is, I don't know, I'm really bad at math. this last time when I was there in May, I was just basically eating supermarket sushi every day. And that stuff was like even better than most restaurant sushi here. So in May, we stayed at Kawasaki. And even in Kawasaki, there's like a ton of restaurants and places, malls, shopping malls. I went on a kind of a gachapon shopping spree, trying to find kind of funny gachapons. Yeah. Yesterday's earthquake was probably the biggest that I felt since I lived out here. Although it was I've been in LA since '96, after the Northridge quake. I mean, there's been other ones that have probably been maybe a little bit more violent. This one was very smooth, like a rolling, very smooth. Things are going. I've experienced a couple that it felt like a train or a bus hit the building out of nowhere. Yeah, Zion looks like he's been hitting the gumbo, what they say. But he's going to be a beast. I mean, they shut him down already for the summer. He's not going to be playing any more summer league games. I think they've seen enough. But yeah, I had some friends that were here later on that I met, and just looking at the pictures and devastation. Ryan, were you in Florida during the Hurricane Andrew? Hurricane Andrew was '92. I was in Miami when that hit. I mean, hurricane's like very different than tornado, but there was a lot of devastation afterwards. I forgot to ask Ace what your favorite team was. They're saying like the Knicks better win it because that's the Knicks. I mean, the summer league team is their team for the regular season, for the most part. O.J. Barrett, Kevin Knox, Mitchell Robinson. I mean, Mitchell Robinson was nice last year. So I feel like most of the other Sixers. Well, Josh Richardson is an amazing player. One of my favorite players from the Heat. I think it's tough to see him go because that guy is basically a warrior. It's the best way to describe him. He's the kind of player that is exciting to watch, but also really, just exudes enthusiasm and energy. And I feel like if Ben Simmons played like with the enthusiasm and energy of Josh Richardson, he would be unstoppable. And nothing against Ben Simmons, but I just feel like, man, just love how Josh plays. Yeah, well, Brooklyn is, the arena is just down the street. You could probably walk there. My buddy lives down the street from there. I used to live in, after I graduated Pratt, I used to live in Carroll Gardens, which is, like that Court Street. That's when I was coaching. I was an assistant coach for a year, and I would take the train to Pratt and back and forth. So F train to the G train. Back then, there was no. Nets were still in Jersey. The Meadowlands is a dump. I used to go watch the Heat when I was in college, because I was a ball boy for them in Miami when I was in high school. So if we had a night off, I'd go meet the team at the hotel, then ride with them on the team bus inside the arena. So I did that a few times in New York, in Madison Square Garden. That was a blast. Sitting on the bench in Madison Square Garden, riding with the team in the back, and on the bus, on the team bus. Did that a couple times in the Meadowlands. We'd go meet them at a hotel somewhere in New Jersey. Ride with them on the team bus to get inside the arena, sit on the bench. The only thing with the Jersey games was that after the games they would get on a plane to go to the next city, and then by the time we got out, there was no public transportation back to Brooklyn. So I had to, fortunately a couple of times there were some front office guys, interns or whatever, that would drive myself, and actually I had a buddy that was with me one or two times, drive us to a train station or a bus station or something. I mean, we're stuck in the middle of nowhere in New Jersey without a car. This was all before Lyft, Uber. And as a college student too, I couldn't take a taxi. It was way too expensive. I mean, last case resort would have been to have to walk. But it was a lot of fun. Yeah. I mean, sitting the garden. I mean, Madison Square Garden is like no other place. And going into that back hallway, I think one side was the visitor locker room, the other side was the Knicks locker room, and the locker rooms were also back then. This was early '90s, so nowadays you see the locker rooms and they're all nice and they got all this tech and equipment and all this stuff. But back then the visitors locker room was just these concrete blocks. They had these old metal hangers along this like a rod, like a pole, and that was like a bench, and that was it. There was no luxuries back then. I also remember the garden, in between and before the game, when players are getting warmed up, stretched out, shooting around. I'd go into the press box, and they'd have food there for the press. It's good food too. And of course, in your college. This was also before I started working at Valiant, so they didn't have any money. So usually just steaks and a lot of other stuff. It's wow. These were the days when it was probably the third, fourth season of the Miami Heat. So they started Ronnie Cycli, they had Glenn Rice, Kevin Edwards. Actually, you know, one of those games too was after I started working, because I remember I brought some comics for them on the team bus, because I had drawn a couple of the players in the comics. Yeah, food is food. Free food is the best. I'm sure now if I had some of that food, maybe I might think differently about the quality of it. But back then I was like, fuck. Alright, I think this one's done. It's a little, like, crooked. Favorite tools that I got. Actually, well, my buddy Jerry Ma, Epic Props, he got this for me. It's a mono. You can't see it, it's too dark. It's a mono 0 eraser. A flat eraser, so you can erase in like single lines. The Pentel is like a circular, and it's much thicker. Just gonna see the difference. Bam Fart, if you can DM me your address, I'm going to send you. Which one do you want? Do you want the Kid Flash or do you want the Crush? I'm drawing Teen Titans right now for DC Comics. Adam Glass is the writer. Marcello Maiolo is the colorist. Issue 31 just came out a couple weeks ago. It's the third week of the month book. 32 will be out maybe in 2 weeks. I did find my orange. I found the orange that I thought I had lost, and then I actually bought another one. This one is a little different. It has a plastic, or it has a rubber grip holder. These are the other pencils that I got in Japan this time. Alright, Banfart, you got the Crush. So this one, got a red one. Table's at an angle, so everything's sliding off. Got 3. Digging through I'm missing a pencil. I think there's like a ghost in my house. Because I'll be missing something for a little bit, and then a few weeks later it like reappears where I've already looked. So this ghost is a prankster. Yeah, so I got a gold one. This one was a limited edition. SLR05. This was a SLR05 limited edition red also. I don't know if you can see that. It says limited edition. But the limited edition is only the colorway. So they actually had another red one, but the red one had, I think, like a silver tip. They didn't have another gold one. I didn't see. I don't remember. But this was the gold one. I had got a black one, and then I got a blue one. The blue one I use 003. Whispering. Well, Banfart, are you on Instagram? If you're on Instagram, my Instagram handle is the same as my Twitch handle, the Bernard Chang. If you can kindly give a follow, but you can DM me from there. Then I'll try to get these out later in the week. Yeah, I should have a blue and a black one. Maybe I took it out already. I've been cleaning the house all weekend. I would zoom out and show you guys the rest of my desk, but then see the incredible mess. There's just pencils and pens everywhere. Yeah, I think I took it out earlier. But every now and then I still go back to this. This one I got in Japan 2010 when I was there. They still had it, so I guess it's not very limited, because if it's 9 years later and they still got it, then it's not very limited to me. This up a little bit. I'm assuming everyone out there kind of draws a little bit on their own. Oh, this is another Mono Zero, except this one is like a circular, like a tubular eraser. Got two of these, Janoff's Stationery, thank you very much, on the Upper West Side in Manhattan, near Columbia University. Very generous to have gifted these. Ace, you want the Kid Flash drawing? Okay, here or there, bam, fam, anywhere, bamf, anywhere. Yeah, just text me your address later. I'll send it out sometime this week. Ace, I never asked you. Actually, have you been on campus, or have you at Pratt? Those of you that are interested, I went to art college. Actually, when I was in high school, I went to an art high school in Miami called New World School of the Arts. It was the first year of the school itself. You had to audition to get in. And, oh, yo, Jimbo. I was wondering when you were going to come on. I didn't see you there earlier. A little rusty with this streaming game. Gotta remember to look up every now and then. I wish there was some kind of like auditory alert. Man, yo, Jimbo's up late. Or up early. Or this guy never sleeps at all. Hey, Serpentine, yes, it has been a minute, a long minute. Actually, almost a year. I gotta look back. Maybe like around a year. It's kind of around this time when I started streaming last year. And then deadlines and travel got in the way. It's extremely difficult, I feel like, to stream if you're working on a monthly book, because most of your time is consumed with drawing that book, but then you can't really show that book while you're working on it. Can't stream it. Yogi's been passing out early most nights. Me too. You know, I went to sleep last night at 10. No, 10:30, 11, somewhere around there. I'm trying to actually go to sleep early and then wake up early. Like, wake up like at... Go to sleep like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and then wake up... What's like 8 hours from that? It's 5 o'clock? And start my day then. I did that for a little bit, and it worked out pretty good. And it doesn't really affect my travels, because then if I do that and I go somewhere else to another country or time zone, it actually benefits. I don't get jet lag as much. So, yo, Jimbo, yes, I did. I switched to digital for my interior, for my monthly comic works. So, that's a direct result of just traveling and trying to find a way to be a little bit more efficient. The start of that was, I'd been looking to kind of be more efficient too, because I've been doing a lot of traveling. And when I was in Amsterdam earlier in the year, and my laptop gave out, and a MacBook Pro 17-inch, it's an old one. It's like 10 years old, but it still worked. And they don't make 17-inch MacBook Pros anymore. I really like the real estate of having that extra screen size to put all the tool windows, and it gave out while I was in Amsterdam. So I was like, damn, you know, because I was planning on doing the rough layouts, and then I even brought a scanner. You know, I said this earlier. Bring a scanner, laptop, tablet, drawing board, light box, paper, pencils. So it was a lot of stuff to carry around. So it really made me think maybe I need to go digital. The downside to that is, again, there's no original art left from the interior. But the positive side is it's very efficient. Now when I travel, I just have to bring my laptop right here. This is it. Just got to bring this bad boy. And 16%, I gotta charge it. So just trying to make it a little bit more efficient. So Serpentine, yes. Actually, there's one show I can't announce yet. There's another. I'm doing a show in Taipei, Taiwan, in August. I'm going to be at that show with my buddy Jerry, Epic Props. Guys, check him out, epicprops.com. I did this show back in February, and it was a comic book convention in Taipei, but all the attendees, like the artists, and all the guests and all the attendees, so all the artists and all the people that just came in, it was like 92% female, which is completely refreshing, but very different from what kind of you're used to maybe in the States. But I have family in Taiwan. I really didn't know what to expect. It's called CWT. And the specific one that I'll be doing in August called CWT 52. It'll be at the Taiwan National University. But this one, I think they said in August, is a little bit more mixed, because university's out for a few weeks, and it's actually even bigger than the one I went to. So really excited looking and checking it out, but also just excited to going back to Taiwan, which is where I grew up before we immigrated to the States. And Taiwan has some of the best food in the world, if not the best. Oh, Serpentine, you've met Jerry. Yeah. So Jerry and I will be at the show, setting up, and then getting drunk at night on Kavalan and Omar and Taiwan beer. I'm hoping to go to the Kavalan distillery. on one of our free days. And then, of course, hanging out with some family. My favorite animated DC film. I haven't seen that many, to be honest. I have watched the Batman Beyond DC film. I thought that was pretty good. That was really well done. The animation was a lot crisper. I watched, I drew Batman Beyond a few years ago for 2.5 years, so I had to watch a lot of the episodes for referencing, for style, for kind of character play, and those are done okay. Standard television animation is one thing, but I thought the movie was pretty good. They did send us a bunch of DVDs. DC did a few years ago with a few, but I haven't watched them yet. So, all right. Yeah, and I think there's a new Harley Quinn. Is there a new Harley Quinn animated show? I just saw somewhere that they just finished. They just wrapped up the season. And animation is how the animation industry works. From my understanding, it's a little different. After every season is over, all the guys get laid off, or they have a few months in between seasons. And most important part. So they have a few months. If they like you, then when they pick up the show again, a few months later, they'll hire you again. If they don't like you, then you're not going to be invited back. This also allows a lot of the artists time to tackle other projects, or just vacation, have time to relax, or travel somewhere. By the way, I'm just scratching, I'm not picking. If the camera was off, I'd be picking. Back. Yes. I take it Banff is a big fan of Nightcrawler. Okay. Now we're going to work on a little bit larger sheet. Batman Under the Red Hood. I'll check it out. I don't think I have that one in the library, but I'll look for it. Banff, do you have a favorite Nightcrawler version? You should have asked me to draw Nightcrawler earlier. Alright, I gotta do a Black Panther. I did 2 Black Panthers and a vintage Hawkman. So, not Dave Cockram's Nightcrawler with the swashbuckler outfit. Yeah, I never really got into Jason Todd that much. I think in '04, what was I doing? '04, I just moved into this place. I was doing mostly advertising work, storyboards. Let's do a. So usually when I start out, I kind of have a vague idea about the pose. Sometimes I see it. This time I'm not really. Haven't really seen it yet. I'm just kind of figuring out. I'm drawing very lightly because I'm assuming I'm going to erase. And Yoji asked, have I done any movie work? Have I done any movie work? There was a period of time I was directing short films. I was considering maybe a pivot into a director. A lot of what we do as a comic book artist, storytelling, it's essentially the same thing with different tools. Yeah, it's all storytelling. And but there's a period of time I was thinking about getting into storytelling. I do know, have some friends that are big into the industry. My buddy Mark Moretti, who used to work with, used to call him Coach because he actually used to coach. He was a women's basketball team, women's basketball assistant coach at Virginia. But he also wrote and drew comic books. And so he was kind of a mentor when I was first starting out at Valiant. Anyways, fast forward to when I moved here to LA in '96. Mark shortly moved here afterwards. His wife Laura won a contest, or got accepted into, I think, ABC Disney Writer Fellowship program, and so he moved out here with her. And when he moved out here, he decided to pursue storyboards. So a few years after that, I think Mark became lead storyboard artist on iRobot and a ton of other movies. Storyboard in movies is somewhat tricky to get into. You have to. There's a union, so to get into the union, you have to work on a union project. To work on a union project, you have to be in the union. So there's a catch-22. But how I think a lot of guys get around that is, a lot of these movies, they start out non-union before they have a star attached to it. Usually it's a skeleton crew, the director, the writer, and the storyboard guys, and the previs guys, visual development guys, and they flush out the story, the characters, the designs, the storyboards, and then once an actor comes on board and gets tagged onto the project, then it goes into production, and then it becomes a union project, and then all your hours there can get grandfathered in. Then you can apply. You're going to need someone to, I think, sponsor you, and then you can apply to get into the union through that. That's my understanding of how it works. I never went through it. By the time that was 2004, no, by the time like 2008 rolled around, I started drawing Wonder Woman for DC Comics. And at the time, I was doing also a lot of advertising work for ad agencies. It was a lot of fun. For ad agencies, you'd show up at their, office, and a lot of these ad agencies, the big ones, had like super nice offices. You show in, it's almost like a hired assassin. You do the job. It's like set 8 hours. Once you're done, pack up, you leave. Sometimes you're competing with another artist from another agency. I had an agent that would book all these gigs for me, and so then you're competing with the other person wanting to draw better and faster than them. There's been times where I show up midway through the project or towards the end, because sometimes towards the end they hire a bunch of guys to complete a project, so you're piecemealing a lot of stuff. And one time they had me come in and they needed one extra drawing, and the guy that was doing the regular drawings, and I was just brought into color, so I wasn't even brought in to draw. They brought in the guy that was doing all the drawings was too busy, so the art director had me do a drawing, and I just drew it in my style. And the art director saw I liked it so much that he had me redraw all of the keyframes. Other artist was a little, ticked off, but we were all under the same agent, so it just meant that we were all on the same team. So the long answer is no, I've never done storyboard movies. But yeah, Mark has really cemented himself in the storyboard industry. Trevor Goring too, a good friend of mine. He is one of the he did a diagram for me once. Trevor Goring is one of the top storyboard artists in the movie industry, and we would talk often about kind of story. Tommy Lee Edwards, I think, he was a good friend of mine. It's like a brother. We were all part of this Boulevard studio together for a while. He actually did a lot of previs, and I just saw on Netflix one of his movies, Book of Eli. It's on Netflix. He's the primary, I think, visual development guy, concept designer for that. And really, concept design is like probably the most fun. I would rather do concept design than storyboarding. Storyboarding, you're doing like, depending on the projects, doing a massive amount of storyboards every day, and they're all kind of very sketchy. But visual development, you get to create the characters, the environments, the entire look of the world where the movie's going to take place. Rad Pixel, yes. 2008, that was my first Wonder Woman work was with Gail. Interesting story is that Dan DiDio had a meeting with him, and he asked if I was interested in drawing Teen Titans, and at the time it was a little daunting because I hadn't drawn a monthly book in quite a while, and to do a teen book is it's quite difficult. So I passed on Teen Titans then. And then he asked me, well, what book would I be interested in drawing? I said, I'd love to draw Wonder Woman. And at the time, I think he said, unfortunately, they had already just signed, I think, Aaron LePresley to draw it. I was like, that's fine. I will be the backup, the relief pitcher. I'll be the Mariano Rivera. I'll do a few fill-in issues here and there. So I was still doing a bunch of advertising work. And then maybe we can go from there, and if it works out, then maybe we can increase the workload and see how it goes. The agent that I had was purely for storyboards, advertising and movie story. I've done some commercial. Okay, so I've done some commercial storyboards for commercials, aside from ad agency work, where you're storyboarding a 30-second spot. So I've done that. That's not a movie. Those gigs are usually just a few days. I mean, if you're working on a movie, you're there for months, ideally. But the agent would book the gig. The agent would take a 25% cut, which seems like a lot, and it is. But advertising also pays a lot. So at the time it was around like $900 a day. So 25% of that, you're still getting $700 some a day, which is a decent payday for a set 8-hour day. Like if 6:30 hit, you gotta put your pencil down. If they wanted to keep you longer, then that was going to be overtime, which then meant rate and a half. And if it also went after midnight, which a lot of these projects did, because they're usually all last minute, then it's double rate. So advertising paid really well. Book of Eli, if you get to check out like the visual development stuff, that's all Tommy. They relied heavily on Tommy's work for that movie. He basically set the entire tone for the film, visually. How the world was going to look, Denzel's outfits, the cars, the homes, all the bad guys, the people, what they wore. So a visual development guy or gal gets to set all that. And a lot of times, when they start, they don't know what they want. So sometimes you're working on stuff and then it gets rejected. I mean, that's probably the big thing, the big adjustment in terms of working in the entertainment industry, is that a lot of stuff that you do never gets made. Whereas in comics, every drawing that I do for Teen Titans gets printed, and it gets printed right away. Movies you're working on for years, months to years before it comes out, and you're working usually in a team that sometimes people draw in different styles too. I gotta remember not to get too dark with this pencil because I gotta ink this later. So sometimes you might draw something and it just might, maybe the feel, the color tone, the painting just might set a particular mood, but the actual style of the movie might be a little different, or sometimes you are able to create a complete visual identity for what the project is. So these lines are going to be like a shrub. I'm going to cheat. I'm not going to have to figure out this leg back here. So, and then I'm running out of space down here. This is a amateur mistake. Drawing too much too soon, finishing it, and then knowing that it ran out of room. I'm going to bring the leg up a little bit more so it has a little bit more dynamic aspect to it. Like he's really hunched low to the ground. Comics, I think yes. I've had to redraw stuff on comics. In advertising, storyboards, you're redrawing stuff all the time. Concept design, you're redrawing stuff all the time. In comics, it really depends on the editorial team that you work with. I've had to redraw stuff on Teen Titans, but then on other projects, we'll go without redraws for almost the entire run. Sometimes the redraws are good, sometimes they're not. It all depends. At the end of the day, everyone wants to make the book the best it can be. So, as an artist, as a professional artist, you gotta understand that there's a particular aspect that it's a team process. I think this is about done for now. I'm going to come back tomorrow to ink it. Going to have to reference what his outfit looks like. Yeah, but I've had to redraw stuff. Sometimes, you know, it's frustrating. But at the end of the day, if it makes the book better, it's part of the job. Right, I'm hiding the leg. There's going to be these, tall bushes, or grass blades. I kind of see it now. And maybe some light stuff back here. So let's see. Yeah, legs kind of hidden on the edge. Don't make this mistake at home, kids. I mean, feet are very important, but it's also setting. Like this is, I'm zoomed in so much, and because I brought his leg forward, maybe make it even higher. Let's see. Maybe even more dynamic. And normally I erase a lot too, so I just find that for this stream, because the camera is kind of light, I've been drawing very dark with the pencil. Typically I would not be drawing this dark with a pencil at this stage, but I feel like in order to see it, don't know if you guys see it. I gotta go a little bit darker, so I hope it doesn't affect the inks later. I mean, I think also most of his outfit's going to be in shadow, his uniform. If I go with the movie costume, I'm going to have to do some referencing on where some of the textures of his suit comes up, or the lining. I don't think he has a knee pad, right? I gotta do one more Black Panther. Should I do the same pose, or maybe I'll do something different? Still freeze, yeah. Well, sometimes, you know, you're at a show and a lot of people ask you to do the same thing, and you just get bored. There's only so many poses that you can put a character in. And I'm sure there's an aspect of where you want it to be challenging and fun, and if you're drawing the same pose over and over again, it's not fun. I will figure out the rest later. You guys see this? Let's see it straight up. I might wake up tomorrow morning and look at these sketches and throw them all away too. That's happened before. Or maybe not throw them all away, but, you know, like redraw or erase them. Where's my eraser brush? This thing here is one of my favorite tools. It's the eraser brush. So I erase so much. There's actually, if I pan, I'm not going to show you guys, but there's like around the light box, there is a layer, there's a mountain of eraser shavings. Alright, one more Black Panther. Alright, do this other side. Yeah, I'm actually getting hungry. I gotta fight the urge to eat late at night. Eating late at night is a very easy way to gain a lot of weight, unnecessary weight. Should just drink more water. I bought a ton of water yesterday for earthquake preparedness. Here, this is Black Panther, almost like speed skating. Yeah, brushing away shavings, sometimes, you leave it on there and then you can reuse them. A lot of it is just personal preferences, personal techniques. Sometimes I leave them on and then I brush them off towards the end. At some point you find a method of working that you're most comfortable with. I mean, is this guy a pro? Or is this guy see, I'm liking this pose. I like this pose. I wonder if you would see his butt. Where would his other arm go? Man, I'm really hungry. And there's a 24-hour taco place like a few blocks away. And it's like really good too. Lengua burritos. That's the best that they got over there. You guys know what lengua burrito lengua is? Lengua is beef tongue. Delicious. Might sound gross, but once you have beef tongue, you will know. Flavor of beef, but more tender. And then after this, I got a vintage Hawkman, and then 2 o'clock, time to go to rest, time to go to sleep. Kind of drawing myself into a corner here. Yeah, it's like a small... I first moved to downtown LA in 04. There was nothing around where I live. I mean, Staples Center was a block away, but that was it. And they had this one, well, where the Ace Hotel is now. I mean, the Ace Hotel was always there, but it was closed. It's like a abandoned building or something, or maybe a sweatshop. Right next to it is this little taco stand. They've been open 24 hours. Ever since. They're still in business. I mean, they've gotten so much business now. I think they've renovated a little bit. Last time I went, it was a little nicer, but. So arm look a little weird. Excuse me. Let me remove his whole chest back. Yeah, downtown LA is. I mean, I'm surprised that that place is still there. I mean, basically, it's like a. It's part of a parking lot, small parking lot. This taco spot. I mean, the rent everywhere is like tremendous. There's a garage downstairs for me. They've had this one corner spot that's perfect for a restaurant, but. Right now it's the third restaurant that's been in that spot in maybe like I'm gonna say 4 years. It's Crab, Louisiana crab place now. It's been busy as hell since they opened. I think they're only open on the weekends though, but it's been super busy. Hopefully they'll stay. Hopefully, you know. I ate there the other day. Not bad. Something just happened. Oh, thank you, Jess. Jess MS, good morning. Hope you're doing well. Watch me as I struggle to draw this arm. I think the shoulder is just back here. Seeing it is just makes it look a little too weird. Jess MS, where are you from? Where are you based? Is it early morning, early evening, late afternoon? Oh, perfect. New York City, it is 5 a.m. Sun's about to come up soon. I wish I was in New York right now. Where in New York are you, Jess? Does that work for you? Does that arm work for you guys? Flushing. Oh, perfect. If you can go get some like Taiwanese breakfast in the morning. I mean, I guess I can do that here. 2 o'clock. Open at 7. Maybe. Or get a breakfast burrito. All right, Banff. Thank you for pioneering tonight, Banff. I will be sending the artwork out for you later this week. Jess, what are you reading at 5 in the morning? What books are you following these days? Ace too. You guys, did you finish moving? You said last time. I think you said you were moving to a new place. Did you guys? Let's take a look at this tomorrow. We'll have to, sometimes if you're drawing, you're working on it for a while, you gotta put it down, go do something else, go to sleep, and then the next day you'll be able to see it with more objective eyes. Right now, I'm getting pretty tired. Might not be able to see all the mistakes I'm making. You guys might see it. The easiest way is to I might ink it on the back tomorrow because this stuff is so rough. And I'm drawing so heavily with the pencil. Skyward Saga and anything Greg Capullo, Sean Murphy. Well, those are all great choices. Skyward is Barbara Kirkman. Lee Garbett. What does Lee draw? Lee draws Skyward. Okay. Did they this Ace, did they set you up where you're going to be living at Pratt? Which dorm? Has Lee Garbett drawn all 11 issues? Do you know which dorm you're going to be staying at? Wow, that's pretty good. 11 issues in a row. Okay. This last sketch is going to be Vintage Hawkman DC. Let's see. Emerson. I don't think we had Emerson. I don't think that was a dorm one. Emerson. Whatever you do, don't stay in Cannoneer Court if that's still around. That's the Cannoneer Court was supposedly a temporary dormitory constructed behind the ARC, the gym. It's 2 stories. It was only supposed to be up for like a few years while they're constructing other dormitories. But then, hey, Lee Garbett drew a crush. That's pretty cool. Yeah, my freshman year I stayed in Cannoneer Court. It was, I mean, you could hear everything. The walls were paper thin. And this was 1990, so almost 30 years ago. If it's still there, it's a shame. There was another. There was another one I forgot. The Pantis. I didn't stay at Pantis, but Pantis was kind of new when I started. But then the rest of my first year was Cannoneer Court. The other 4 years was Willoughby. And Willoughby, I mean, it's an apartment building. It was really a piece of shit, but it was just, you get like they had the option of having your own room, your own bedroom. So within an apartment. And this is also like, we're talking about Pratt Institute. This is also like they didn't have cable internet. There was nothing, so you had the TV. You had to like get one of those rabbit ears and point it to Manhattan to get any kind of signal. Internet, you had to still dial up, so you had to get a phone line, and then you could get internet. I'm 47 this year, so but they yeah. Yeah, dial up. The old Macs. The Macs were the old all-in-one. Okay, let's start on the Hawkman. Reminiscing about too much stuff. I hear that they're putting in a new court at the ARC. Because my freshman year, they had just put in the floor. It used to be blue, and then I think like it's so worn out, it's like turned kind of green-grayish. But it was like a synthetic floor, and the floor before that was green. But yeah, my freshman year they put in a new floor, and I think that floor is only supposed to last maybe 15 to 20 years, but it's like 30 years. So, but I'm excited that they're putting in a wood floor for you guys. I think that means they're going to have to change the configuration Maybe have those NBA backboards if they're gonna rotate the court. I don't know how it's done. Yeah, right. Yeah, that's gonna look nice. Yeah, because ours, the baskets, yeah, half man, half amazing broke the rim once during a game. What, during a game or during pickup? Sorry, just texting someone. JSMS, yes. Very excited about Jeremy Lin. Jeremy Lin has been a trailblazer. But man, 2001, you're 8. 2 years old, 2001. Wow. All right, Hawkman, let's focus and get back. I remember my first night at Pratt. Back then, Brooklyn, Clinton Hill was not a very safe neighborhood. The first night at Cannoneer Court, I mean, across the street was a police station, and I'm in my dorm on the bunk bed, and outside the window, I hear like pop, 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 and I'm thinking, oh, is it like fireworks? But it's like end of August, early September. Like, it could be fireworks, but the RA was like, no, that's gunshots. So it was quite an interesting time. We had freshman orientation. And we had an NYPD detective come in, and they would tell us always be aware, right, of your surroundings. And if you sense someone's following you, cross the street. And if you look back and they cross the street behind you, then cross the street again. And if you see them cross the street the second time, start running, because that's the only way you're going to avoid getting mugged. And I would say in my 6 years in New York, I only got mugged once. Knock on wood. Well, knock on wood, because I mean, I don't know. It's already been done, but I hope it doesn't happen. It was actually after a game. I was assistant coach, so I graduated already, and we were having a miserable season. I think we had won. This was maybe like our third game of the year. And so we stayed behind to do post-game analysis, write up notes and details on the game and, you know, stuff that happened so we wouldn't forget for the next day for practice. And then so it was kind of late by the time I got to the train station. And I see these two kids coming across the street from me, and two kids, and one kid crossed in front of me and the other one went behind me and then came across the street behind me, so they kind of like sandwiched me. And I was almost right by the G train station, and I was trying to like stall a little bit, hoping that people will come out of the station and it'll, you know, kind of freak them out and they'll run away. But talking for like, I don't know, like a minute or two, seemed like forever. And the one kid had a backpack in front, but he had his hand behind, insinuating that he had a gun. But also, the other thing that the cop told us too, freshman orientation, is always keep like maybe, you know, $5-10 in your front pocket. Don't always put all your cash in your wallet, because keep some spare change in the front, because if you get mugged, you can pull that out and just give that to them, and then they'll run. Whereas opposed to if you have to pull out the wallet, then they're going to take out the whole wallet. They're going to take the whole wallet, and you're going to, you know, it's going to be a pain in the ass. So always carry like loose change. So I had like $5 for the subway fare, I think. They took that and they ran. They ran across. There's like a little park there. They ran across the park. And then as I was walking, I saw another friend of mine come my way, that he had just walked past the park. And I was like, hey Dave, did you see these two kids run across the park? Did you see where they went? And he was like, I didn't see where they went, but they were running pretty fast. They must have just jacked somebody. So yeah, that was me, you know. But that's the extent of my mugging story. All right, Hawkman. Vintage Hawkman too. Is there a particular difference between Golden Age Hawkman and, excuse me, Golden Age Hawkman did not have, he just had a mask. Wait, there's different versions. Oh yeah? Yojimbo, how did it affect Frank Miller? I mean, Greg Capullo is a pretty big guy. I mean, he's pretty muscular and strong, so I don't know if he got mugged. Did he get robbed? That, like, because I would imagine that Greg would probably beat the shit out of whoever tried to mug him. Also, so Golden Age Hawkman has a mask, but not the Silver Age Hawkman. He has like the bird mask. Oh, there's a Golden Age one here too. I guess they're kind of similar. And it looks more like a bird. Yes, Frank's mugging affected his writing on Daredevil. Made him put it into the drawing, put it into the work. Golden Age Hawkman's mask looked. The eyes are part of the mask. Okay. Ace, no, the birds are asleep. They go to sleep when the sun goes down. So, yeah, they probably get up until maybe the sunrise. So, like 6. Does Hawkman have like a? He has like a. What are those things called? The ball with the not a hammer, it's a mace. If you're wondering, I'm looking up. I have a monitor in front of me and a monitor to my side, over here and over here, and so I'm pulling up references of Hawkman. And the reason it's taking a little bit longer is because Hawkman has wings. And I mean, Black Panther was just, in the bushes. So I kind of done an earlier commission similar to that a few years ago. But Hawkman I have not drawn in quite a while. I think maybe once. Alright, let's go. Let's just go. Let's just start drawing. Hope something good comes of this. So the daytime streams, hopefully Beavis and Butthead will be around. I will continue this, what I had before last time, where if they land on my shoulders while I'm drawing, while I'm streaming, I'll give a free prize to everyone that's watching at the time. I'm still not sure how I'm going to be able to do that. This is too big. There's no room for the wings. Okay. Sorry, Jess, going back to the Spider-Verse. Yes, I thought that was an amazing movie. One of the best movies I've seen in a very long time. It made it really, I was enthralled the entire film. I thought it played very well in terms of its trying to mimic a comic book. But aside from that, at the same time, the animation, the design, the storytelling was just incredible. And I'm actually looking forward to maybe watching it a second or third time. Just haven't had time to. In comparison, I actually haven't even watched Avengers Endgame yet. So, and Avengers Infinity War I saw only on Netflix. So, earlier I was talking about how I don't get to see that many movies in movie theaters, really based on timing, scheduling. This year has been extremely busy in terms of travel and deadlines. Teen Titans is it's a challenging book to draw because it's a team book. It's a team book. You have 6 main characters, including a villain or villains, environments, all these things that you have to design and draw every month. And keep consistent. What's the alternate cut? Is that available on Netflix? Or you have to buy it? Oh, Blu-ray. I mean, Hawkman, I used to love the outfit, but then I also, as a kid, I thought like that was his face. It was a hawk. They had like a bird's face, because he was from another planet, right? I mean, as a kid, I also thought black and white was like there was an era where the world was just black and white. It was around the same time I thought Hawkman's face was also a hawk. I'm not sure, Serpentine. I don't think I'm going to do LA Comic Con. I haven't been invited, even though I am probably, and I can say this with almost 99.999% certainty, the only or the one comic book artist that lives the closest to the LA Convention Center. But they haven't invited me, so I can't go. I can only go to a show that invites me. Thanks, Ace. I think I was trying to get a little bit more of a twist in his body, but Also ran out of room. Well, also LA Comic Con has changed ownership hands. I used to be the people that used to own it prior to the new owners. I used to be friends with, and so I would go to those shows because they would invite me. And but I think they recently sold it last year or the year before, and I don't hear from them. So, and even the previous organizers were trying to intervene on my behalf, but I never got an email. I mean, I should stay home and work anyways. Just a mess. What happened with Neil Adams? Neil is a legend in the industry. If you want to share. So after this rough sketch, I'm gonna probably call it a night. The Golden Age Hawkman also has these ruffles on his head, I think. Yeah or no? Maybe that's just the wrong version that I saw. Well, maybe you caught him on a bad day. Was it at which convention was this at? New York Comic Con. And New York Comic Con is tough. It's such a madhouse. Here's another lesson I learned from John Paul Leon, the great John Paul Leon. And tidbits on drawing Batman was to draw Bruce Wayne first and then draw the mask over him. So I'm going to try to apply that same advice to Hawkman. A lot of times these characters with masks tend to be fairly difficult. I don't know if I like that. Man, I am getting really hungry. I think tomorrow I will make a trek in the morning to get some Taiwanese breakfast in Monterey Park. I think the old one looks more like a canary or parrot. The old Hawkman mask. Yoshi, have you and I ever met? Oh, and I guess the vintage one had the eyeballs. Is anyone going to Comic-Con San Diego? Dave Gibbons is great. Dave Gibbons is great. And I was shocked too when I met Dave a few years ago. And we were mutual friends, Tommy Lee Edwards, John Paul Leon. But Dave knew my name, and I was shocked. Because it's Dave Gibbons, it's Watchmen. Although actually, now that I think of it, just went to Costco today, bought a whole bunch of food, for the earthquake. Really, Yoji? Did you ever buy the book? I think you did. Jess, we've met too? Oh, well, thank you, Yoji. If that was Baltimore, it might have been the third book. Because Walter Simonson, was he at our table? I think we're pushing the third book. I think that's, for me, probably one thing I don't like that much in shows, is like always like pushing stuff. Commerce aspect. It just gets embarrassing a little bit. I guess the old vintage Hawkman did not have gloves. It's basically like a wrestler's outfit almost. I'm running out of room up top. This is not very good planning. I think I'm gonna have to retrace this on 11 by 17. It's the only way to give this any kind of justice. Yeah, I'm gonna do that tomorrow. So finish roughing this out. I'm gonna finish this tomorrow. So if I get 11 by 17, I'm gonna probably reposition it a little bit more. I'm getting too used to drawing digitally, because then digitally I would have just like transformed it and made it fit. What does this boots look like? Boots. Oh, that's cool. Thanks, Jess. I think I'm almost running out of things to say. How long have I been streaming? 2 hours? I want to thank you guys for hanging in there tonight with me in this foray back into Twitch streaming. Hopefully I'll be able to do this a little bit more. hopefully you guys will be able to join me again. Alright. And in this hand, I'm going to have him hold the tomorrow when I wake up, eat breakfast, and then I'm gonna rework this piece on an 11 by 17. So this guy gets a much bigger piece than what he originally planned. Yeah, that must have been, well, then Yoji, that was my first time in Baltimore with Sean. I think I was probably wearing like an Expos jersey or something. Funny, the things that you remember. Everybody have a good 4th of July weekend. A lot of barbecues. A lot of beer. Thank you, Yoji. If we are ever at another show, I'm going to have to definitely give you a thank you gift. Plus, you've helped me so much on this Twitch thing last time. I've been trying to get the green screen working all night. I finally gave up on it. But I think maybe during the day might be a little bit better. Since last time I've gotten a new iMac, much more powerful machine than the one I had before. But then I forgot I had to redo all the settings. But now I think I got most of that out of the way. People shot fireworks and misfired at a power pole. Wow, nice. Alright, I think this is it for now. I think I need to make the head a little bit smaller. Okay. Tomorrow I'm going to transfer this onto a larger board. Earthquake wasn't that bad. 7.1 I think at the epicenter, but the epicenter was like an hour 45 minutes away. It was more of a smooth roll. But things were moving more than normal. I've experienced this one was kind of long too. They say 15-20 seconds. I've felt a couple before where it was like a truck hit the building. Those are probably the scariest. Also, the ones that just last longer. You know, anything over like a few seconds. You question, when is it gonna stop? Is it gonna get worse? I have a lot of vents in my place. I live in a loft, and so those vents were like shaking back and forth. I was just like, please do not snap from the attachment, you know, metal things, because that would be a pain in the ass to replace. Just keep your fingers crossed and make sure you have enough water and canned goods. So, yeah. I was just, when it happened yesterday, I was opening my front door. Just come back from Home Depot, I think. I've been to Home Depot way too much the last few days to buy screwdrivers to fix my laptop, which I still have not been able to fix. Anyways, thank everyone again for tonight. I'm going to try to do it again tomorrow, and then try to be a little bit more consistent with the streaming. So, any suggestions? I do have a Discord page, and I have an Instagram, the Bernard Chang. So, good night, everyone, or good morning, and enjoy the rest of your 4th of July weekend. See you tomorrow or next time. Thanks, guys.